Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why we can't blame Colin Kaepernick for all the chaos around him.
And I'm Colin Cowherd. Get ready, Patriots haters. I'll tell you how your favorite person, Tom Brady, just won again. Speak for yourself. Starts now.
Stays winning. They let Seth Joyner back on this show. I'm disappointed. Hello and welcome. Joining us today are NFL analysts Eric Dickerson and Seth Joyner. All right, we start with a revelation with Colin Kaepernick. According to our FS1 colleague and former Baltimore Raven Ray Lewis, the Ravens were close to signing Kaepernick, but then backed off after his girlfriend Nessa tweeted a photo comparing Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti to the white slave owner played by Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained, and Ray Lewis to the slave character Steven in Django. On Showtime's Inside the NFL, Lewis recapped what happened.
When me and Steve Bisciotti was talking, this is what we're talking about, Judy. We're talking about giving this kid an opportunity to get back in the National Football League. Look, this is what I wanted to share with people. I have been fighting for this kid behind the table like nobody has. Nobody had this kid a job in the National Football League. I can raise my hand and say I did. I've never been against Colin Kaepernick, but I am against the way he done it. Then his girl goes out and puts out this racist gesture and doesn't know.
To be clear, whose girl, whose lady?
Colin Kaepernick. That she doesn't know. We're in the back office about to try to get this guy to sign. Steve Bisciotti has said himself, how can you crucify Ray Lewis when Ray Lewis is the one calling for Colin Kaepernick?
All right, Cowherd, what do you think has harmed Kaepernick the most, the national anthem protest or all the social media hubbub around him?
Well, I actually think the social media over time has, because I think what's happened is the only team Cap's on now is Team Twitter, because he's not talking football, he's not playing football. So right now in the last 6 months, anybody that didn't like Kaepernick or didn't agree with him, he has reinforced their side, which is, he's not really into football. May not be true. But if you believe that and you are anti-Kaepernick, he sort of reinforced that Instagram's politics and Twitter is politics and there's no football tweets, there's no football interest. It may not be true, but he's reinforced the belief that he's not all in on football.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of guys in the NFL who protested during the national anthem last year. So I don't think it's the national anthem protest. I think it's social media. And I think what Ray Lewis is talking about is the prime example of what you risk by, even when you're trying to do the right thing. The Baltimore Ravens in a serious discussion trying to sign Colin Kaepernick, and Kaepernick's girlfriend and social media have painted them as racist. Kaepernick has ascended to this very special place in the society where he's almost like a religious figure, and Twitter and the rest of the world and all his friends are committed to, if anybody says anything off note that we disagree with about Colin Kaepernick, we are going to trash you. We're going to assassinate your character.
Racist.
You're racist. And so here's Steve Bisciotti and Ray Lewis, white dude and a black dude, trying to create a job for Kaepernick, and boom, they get hit with the Twitter lynch mob, and now they're sellouts, Uncle Toms, and or racists.
Well, first of all, the girlfriend should have stayed out of it. If it's mama, like, okay, mama, please, just hold it down, mama. But the girlfriend should have stayed out of it. Yep. I'm gonna ask you guys this question. If Colin Kaepernick if you could look into a crystal ball and say, okay, I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. If you do this protest, A, you will most definitely get a lot of attention, but you will never, ever play football again. Never. Not maybe, not my for sure, but never play football again. Do you think he would do it all over again?
I do, because I think from the moment he lost his job to Blaine Gabbert, he was done with football. I think he thinks he was treated unfairly in San Francisco about the football stuff, and he sat down mostly over that, and then when asked, you can't be honest, and so he says Black Lives Matters. But yeah, I think Colin Kaepernick's been done with football. I really don't think he's that interested in football.
I'd have to marinate on it, but my belief is if you love something, you're incapable of not showing it.
Why would he want a job if you don't love it?
What I'm saying is, if you love something, I would know he loves football.
Yeah.
I know Brady does. He doesn't drink a beer during the season. I am questioning Kaepernick's love for the game. And by the way, you guys both played. Not everybody loves football that plays football.
No,
that's it's a good question. I don't have an answer, but I tend to lean toward Whitlock.
I say no, because I don't think that he ever believed for 1 second that this thing would balloon in the way that it has. And he can't control it.
There you go.
And because he can't control it, do you step back and look like a hypocrite, or do you toe the line and stand by what you believe? You know, he's already said that I'm not going to protest. So to answer the question, the social media is the piece that's damaging him right now. And listen, I don't believe that his girlfriend formulated this tweet and say, Colin, do you approve before I push send? She did it on her own, okay? Maybe that's his fault because he didn't control the situation.
Right.
Okay? But so I don't really buy into 100% what Ray is saying, because at the end of the day, if the Ravens really wanted to sign him, okay, they could have flew him in, had a discussion about it, talked about how much he knew about the tweet, talk about the tweet. Steve Bisciotti could have asked him the question, do you want to play football? Okay, because Colin Kaepernick ain't going to call a press conference and tell the world what he thinks, because the media is going to spin it the way they want to spin it anyway. So like I've been saying, and I'll continue to say, the worst thing that he can say is come out and say a word of anything till he signs on the dotted line and he stands in front of the media for the first time.
But why are you questioning Ray Lewis is in the room with Steve Bisciotti? Why question if that was their decision-making? They're having a conversation, hey, let's bring Cap in here. The next day, they're being analogized to a slave owner and a slave. Again, I don't know how you deal with your money, but when people call you names that you don't think fit, you're less likely, hey, I'm gonna sign you to a contract to work for me.
I get that, but are you 5 or you know, are you
50,
no, I get you.
old.
I get that. But if that's your premise, then we all know that Brent Grimes shouldn't even probably be in the NFL right now, if that's the case. So now
let's go to the Miami.
Come on, man.
Let's go to the Miami situation. Let's take the girlfriend out of it. Just a T-shirt. Could I not argue by wearing a Fidel Castro T-shirt, you were antagonizing the Miami community? That was Kaepernick's decision. So if you are a marginal, maybe he's a starter, maybe he's a backup, either way, I think he's a marginal starter, a good backup. Antagonizing while unemployed, to your point, is generally not smart in any business.
I get your point wholeheartedly. I believe that he now looks at it and realizes that he made some monumental mistakes along the way in the name of doing the right thing.
A lot of people do that.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now he can't rein it back. So now pride becomes a big thing with people.
Most definitely. As a player, as a player, you know when you want to play. You may not say it, you might have your feelings hurt, but deep down, a guy who plays football still can play football. Feel like, I know I should be playing. I want to play. I just don't want to come out and say, man, I should have a job. Ain't no way I shouldn't have a job. And he sounds crazy saying that. I mean, he really would.
All right, to a player who will be on the field Sunday, Cowboy running back Ezekiel Elliott. Although his 6-game suspension was upheld by an arbitrator, Elliott will be eligible to play Week 1 against the Giants. He will. The NFL agreed to let Zeke play this week in order to give the judge more time to consider all the legal options before issuing a final ruling. Today, the Cowboys addressed the situation.
Again, we talk to him every day, and his focus has been excellent throughout the entire process.
That hasn't changed here in the last week since the appeal hearing and yesterday's court case. Do you worry about this kind of wearing on him?
Again, he seems very focused, locked in on meetings. The walkthrough will have a good practice today. He's done an excellent job in his preparation.
All right, Whitlock, you believe Zeke will be able to play and focus with the Giants this weekend?
Yeah, I really do, and I've kind of flip-flopped. Early on, I thought this chaos would be a problem, but this is an organization that deals with chaos 24/7, 365. Jason Garrett has been dealing with these type of issues every year. And so they got a team and a system in place. And then the other thing, I think they're going to rally around Ezekiel Elliott, to be honest with you, because I think the Cowboys organization believes, and there's been enough information come out, that there is a side to Zeke's story. And so I think they're going to rally. We're being picked on. Zeke's being picked on. I think I think Zeke's focus and the Cowboys' focus is going to be sharp.
My first job out of college, I covered Jerry Tarkanian UNLV basketball, and it was constant chaos. It was Lloyd Daniels. It was the NCAA. There was always something. But what I found over time is Jerry had created kind of this micro business where he would build a fence around, and it was, hey, everybody's against us. And so initially, I was like, this is a mess. But it wasn't Duke basketball. It was UNLV basketball. And to your point, UNLV was almost better in a little bit of chaos. And I think deep down, the late Jerry Tarkanian, in his own way, sort of liked it. He grew up as an underdog in life. Nobody gave him a shot. He started out at Long Beach. He didn't get the great job. And Jerry was an underdog. And he liked being an underdog, and he liked the fight. So to your point, Dallas, even when they had Aikman, there was always drama with the Cowboys, and they flourished in it.
But they were never the underdog. They were the Cowboys. You know, they were the team that everybody. Did you like the Cowboys?
Still don't like them.
Thank you, me either. Nobody liked the Cowboys because, you know, it's got the cowboy effect. They get the best of everything. They get the best call, most definitely. And will he be ready to play? Is it a distraction? Let me tell you something. When they start hitting him out there, oh, you'll get it together right quick. I mean, most definitely, he will be ready to play. He's not worried about what's going on off the field. It's what's going on the field Sunday night or what time they play, whenever they play, Sunday. Let's put it like
Well,
Sunday night.
You guys know how I feel about distractions. I think they're nothing more than excuses when teams and coaches and organizations don't achieve the things that they set out to. It's a good way to, you know, throw it off. Oh, well, listen, distractions are a part of life, okay? If I'm a football player, I still got a family to deal with. I got issues to deal with. I got things that go on every day of my life. And then I got to show up on Sunday and play a football game. Okay, my job is to prepare and show up on Sunday and earn my check. Okay, this guy's going to show up because he's not going to be distracted. And when I had distractions, so-called distractions, you know, in my career early on, you want to know what the most peaceful time of my week was? Kickoff. Because now all of that stuff that was going on the peripheral, it faded away, and it went away because I had guys out there trying to take my head off.
Jim Brown told me that. Jim Brown said, I said, Jim, you know, what was the hardest part about football? He said, Eric, playing football was easy. He said the stuff outside of football. He said the football was the fun part. Yeah. It's the other things you have to deal with.
The only thing I would push back on, Seth, everybody's not built like you. And so, again, it's like, as a journalist and as a columnist, I've always been engulfed in controversy all the time. I know a lot of columnists who can't stand being in controversy and spend their entire life trying to avoid controversy. They never write a tough story. They're never critical of anybody because they want to avoid all controversy because a lot of people can't handle it. Again, I think this organization can handle this chaos. We'll see if Zeke can. He's in the right organization to be in chaos.
By the way, it's not like he didn't have some controversy in college.
He went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in these big spots.
I think that if you're a good player or you're a great player, then you learn how to deal with that situation. Because that's what the game of football is all about. You don't ever go out on every single Sunday and every single play and every single defensive play is the perfect play. It's all about execution. So you're always dealing with a fluid situation. So you have to be able to adjust on the run. And the players that can't get it done, Eric, you know what happened.
They don't last.
Oh, they go fishing. That's where they go.
Last. And you're right. When you're a high-profile player like he is, hey, you've got to go out and perform every week. They expect you to. You don't every week well, but they expect you to. Why come Zeke ain't playing well? Why come Dak ain't playing well? You know, why come he ain't catch the ball? You know, in the back of your mind. You want to, but it just doesn't work like that.
Also, I think we forget sometimes, obviously this Zeke story is very public. You know, Lou Holtz used to say this about college football. I get a different player every week. Some broke up with their girlfriend, some failed the test. There could be 12 Cowboys, got a little controversy in their life, just not in the newspapers. That's life.
All right, welcome back. Seth Joyner is here, and we're joined now by Cowherd's co-host on The Herd, Christine Leahy. Let's go back to the NFL and Colin Kaepernick, who may have had a job if not for the tweet his girlfriend Nessa posted last month According to our FS1 colleague and former Baltimore Raven Ray Lewis, Baltimore was considering signing Cap until Nessa tweeted a photo comparing Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti to the white slave owner in Django Unchained and Lewis as Bisciotti's slave. All right, Cowherd, do you think it's fair to blame Kaepernick's girlfriend for the Ravens not signing him?
Well, Ray Lewis is saying that's the reason. So, you know, if Ray says it, I would believe him. I don't think Ray's making it up. It didn't help. I think there's a lot of reasons he's been unsigned. I think he's seen now as divisive and antagonizing, from the Fidel Castro shirt to the socks to his girlfriend. But I don't necessarily think there's one reason. I think there's a multitude of reasons, and I think Kaepernick is now seen. When you say Kaepernick, you think politics, and you think activism, and you think divisive, and you don't think as much about football as I think owners want. I don't think there's one reason. I think there's a multitude of them.
Yeah, I think it's about all the people around Kaepernick. It's like, if you're a football person and Kaepernick's girlfriends, his friends in the media, the people in the media that have no connection to Kaepernick but think it's their job to vilify anybody that has a critical word to say about Kaepernick, that scares people, because football is not a PC environment. Football is very brutal. People talk to you in a very direct, impolite way. And any of this can be spun out if Kaepernick repeats it to the wrong friend. Someone called me this or that in practice. Someone said X, Y, or Z in practice. And that could spin out via social media, from a gift in the media to Kaepernick's girlfriend to whomever his friends are. That's just a dangerous spot for any NFL owner or coach. And so, yeah, I blame Nessa, but I mostly blame Kaepernick for not understanding his situation and who he can surround himself given his situation.
I agree with both of you. I don't think that this specific thing is the reason he doesn't have a job. It's a multitude of things, but it didn't help. And I also look at, I have no problem with people fighting for what they believe in and protesting and raising awareness, but I think it has to be done with a sense of maturity, and I don't think that that picture was a very mature way to go about things. Like, what was she hoping to achieve by this? There's another way to say it that will reach more people and have a bigger impact than insinuating that someone is a racist in that kind of a picture.
The fact is that he didn't get the job in Baltimore, and if Ray is saying that this photo is the reason why, then she's the reason why. Now it's up to him to control the situation and have a conversation about what you're posting, what you're not posting, so on and so forth, because the damage had already been done. All she did was just pour gasoline on an already blazing fire. At the same time, I think that, you know, if a team really wants to sign him, then they'll sign him. There's just no getting around it. If you have a need, if like Tony Romo said that the NFL is a meritocracy, then there's no logical reason beyond we don't want the headache that this guy doesn't have a job.
Let me throw this out there, just a theory. It did feel like Kaepernick had a lot of support for about 3 months, 3 to 4 to 5 months. It really felt like kind of everybody was sort of like, give this kid a chance. And then that happened with his girlfriend. And then there was the Miami situation with the Castro shirt. And then there was the rally, which wasn't really empowering. It feels like he had this momentum, but he's lost it. And has he lost it because there's a sense that, you know, he's not doing himself any favors now? Like, we were behind him, but now the shirt, the girl, and I'm just throwing this out there. It does feel like he's lost momentum in since that Baltimore situation for the last month.
I don't think he's owning it. Like, he's not taking control of the situation. He's not taking control of the people that he has around him.
Right.
He's not taking control of the message. And you've said this many times, he doesn't talk about football. He doesn't even talk about this. I would love to see him do a sit-down interview with someone and just hash it all out. Like, we just haven't had that moment.
Go live even, if you don't want it edited.
Right.
Here's me talking live.
He's playing the martyr and staying silent and allowing all the other people that have no connection to him, really, other than, hey, this is good for my media brand, he's allowing them to do all the talking. And you're right, he's not owning it. Again, he's being compared to Muhammad Ali, and it just baffles me because Muhammad Ali never stopped talking, ever. Anybody, he would go confront his critics.
Well, generally, if you look at people historically that have taken strong stands, they do talk. Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King. I mean, anybody in this world that has taken strong stands that have gone against, the grain or the power, they have spoken. And I think what happens is social media is this new tsunami that didn't exist 20 years ago. It's now speaking for him, and I don't always think it's done him a great service.
And that's what you get over social media, calling people racist indiscriminately.
Welcome back. Christine Leahy's here again. Joining us now, the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's return to the NFL and Tom Brady. Today, the NFL and the NFLPA announced that they find no signs that Brady suffered a concussion last year. This goes against the claim made by Brady's wife, Gisele Bündchen, who said back in May that her husband did suffer a concussion at some point in the season. Whitlock, does this look bad for Gisele that the NFL and the NFLPA found no evidence to support her claim?
No, because you know who did support her claim basically was Tom Brady. He had a chance to contradict her and he didn't. I believe Tom Brady and Gisele more than I do some NFL investigation that's basically CYA.
Yeah, I mean, what has the NFL ever found? Josh Brown, they bungled that. Ray Rice totally botched that. Now this Ezekiel Elliott case, they're messing it up. I don't trust these Keystone cops to find anything. I'm not surprised in the least, and I would always trust the wife who's with Tom Brady every night over some investigators with the NFL.
Well, I don't know. Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
I think it's never a bad look for a woman to love her husband and to care about him for the long term. I mean, I think if we're all being honest, doesn't want him to play football for a very long time. She wants him to probably wind down his career, and she's being honest about what her experience is, and that probably is. He comes to bed and he maybe is not thinking straight, and she's like, I think you probably have a concussion, and that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, and I also think the reason that she won't look bad is it's cool to be anti-NFL in the media.
Oh, you think she was trying to be anti-NFL and be cool?
No, I think she had an opinion, and this opinion, to the question, won't make her look bad because she'll get the support of the media, and they'll shape the narrative that she's on point and the media a bunch of liars, and the NFL lies. Because right now, let's be honest, in the media, the American media, it is cool to be anti-NFL.
Yeah, the war on football.
Yes, right. And there is. There's to some level, everybody, and the media historically has taken on the big guy, the big power, the big corporations, and the NFL is so powerful they take shots, so everybody will defend Gisele today.
But what did you expect the NFL, this investigation, to reveal? It would be like if my mother launched an investigation into my eating habits as a child, she'd be, oh, well, I never fed him pizza casserole for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Pizza casserole?
It's awesome. It's the greatest thing.
I've never heard of that.
It's awesome. So again, the NFL doesn't find any proof that they may have botched the concussion protocol as it relates to their biggest star in the league.
He got sacked 15 times. The biggest hit was Jadeveon Clowney, which I showed on my radio show today, simulcast. There wasn't a single play last year. Here's the big hit all year.
Sacked.
No.
He's been hit more than...
No, that was the most violent shot he took last year.
Doesn't take much.
His head didn't even hit the ground.
By the way, so when he says he didn't have a concussion, he was also sacked 5 times in the Super Bowl. One of them, his head hits the carpet and he gets up immediately. When people have... This is it. This is the big one. Oh.
Does that look like it could be a concussion?
But he bounced up immediately.
If he got a concussion from that and rebounded them to victory...
The point is, he doesn't get sacked.
That's a hell of a comeback.
Colin is a radio host who plays a doctor on this TV show.
Well, by the way,
from video.
She's a supermodel who plays a doctor.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, geez.
What?
She's not playing a doctor. She's a wife.
Wife and a mother.
Well, love, you know what?
You're outnumbered here.
You know what love does? It skews your reality.
No, you two.
All right, welcome back to the show. Christine Leahy and Jason McIntyre are here. Let's talk cheating and the biggest scandal brewing in sports. A Boston team has been caught cheating, and it's not the Patriots. The Red Sox were caught using an Apple Watch or Apple Watches to steal signs from the Yankees. Sign stealing is not against the rules, but it is against baseball culture. But using electronic devices is against the rules if you use them in the dugout. All right, Cowherd, is this more proof that Boston teams cheat more than others?
Well, no, to me, it's proof that Boston and San Francisco are the hubs, the smartest cities in the country. I really believe that. Of college-educated percentage of people. and they are the leaders in innovation, Moneyball, West Coast offense, Silicon Valley, analytics, and people who innovate and are creative, well, they push the envelope in innovation and creativity and sometimes rules. And I think San Francisco with the Balco Labs and New England with Spygate, Deflategate, and this, innovators are often manipulators, and this is what we have.
I think this is an indictment of Boston.
Oh.
Again, and I'm not going maliciously, but there's so much winning from the Celtics to the Red Sox here recently, and they had that long curse that they were trying to overcome, to the Patriots. There's just more performance pressure in Boston.
That's interesting.
And whenever there's performance pressure,
cheat.
You start looking for ways to skirt the rules. It's performance pressure. Go ahead, Christine.
That's pretty
from Boston.
interesting.
She's a
Yeah,
cheater.
so I'm not from Boston. I'm from Chicago, but I live there. So since it was an Apple Watch that they were cheating with, I figured we should ask my Apple product maybe what happened. So Siri, why do people think that Boston teams cheat more?
Oh my God.
Oh.
You had to set that up.
That's it.
That was
So
too good.
that's a really good answer. Everyone's jealous of Boston winning so much. They can't figure out how is this city so good, and so the only way they could possibly win is cheating.
I want to go back to Colin's thing. That was pretty amazing that you put that together. A hub of colleges in Boston. So Silicon Valley has tech. Why are you omitting New York here? They don't cheat at all.
No,
Should they start cheating? The city I'm from?
No, I'm not saying New York's not smart. I just think innovators are envelope pushers.
But that means you would have to have like these doctors and scientists in Boston like going to Belichick and helping him with his strategy and how to cheat the system.
You don't think the guy deflating footballs for Tom Brady
work?
was a scientist? I mean, come on, that guy was a brain surgeon.
To your point, I think there is some. I think your point's really interesting.
Yeah.
Which is, New England's put pressure on everybody. Like, New England wins and is seen as the smartest team in football. Like, that's pressure on Boston. You don't only have to win in Boston. Like, Danny Ainge is almost paralyzed to have to win every trade. I do think there's a performance in Boston that New England has set this precedent that, guys, you have to be smart. And the city really has embraced Belichick.
Well, I mean, and I know we had it with the Yankees where they were dominant, but I don't know if there's really been a team more dominant than the Boston Celtics early in that Bill Russell, Red Auerbach era. And that set a standard in Boston. And then you had the Red Sox that had to overcome the curse for so long, and there was so much pressure. And then you have the Patriots and Belichick. They become so dominant. I think the culture there, and I think it plays to your point as well, there's a culture of intelligence, and we're ahead of the curve. We're ahead of everyone else.
Whereas in Boston, a lot of times, or in New York, a lot of times the winning has been, we're just going to buy more good players.
Yes.
Because New York's the power wealth city, capital of America. I think Boston wins with smarts. San Francisco wins with that. I think New York sometimes just pays for greatness.
You think they're still holding on to what happened back then with the Celtics?
No, it creates a culture.
Yeah.
A culture of winning.
Boston likes to win. They
A
just
culture
everybody
of
likes to win.
innovation. A culture. I kind of agree. I think it's a product of the culture there. That again, we have to push the envelope. That's what innovation is.
They're being
pushing the envelope.
of course, smart, not cheating.
But isn't
There's
part
a
of
big
that
difference.
culture, I don't give a bleep? Bill Belichick, he doesn't care what anybody thinks. Danny Ainge right now, I don't care what anybody says about my
That's
trades.
smart.
I'm doing this. Yeah, so it's more I don't give a bleep than
You just
cheating.
added to our argument.
Yeah.
And they don't care if we cheat. They don't care what
If we get caught,
That's the mentality of a
Well,
cheater.
baseball is investigating this. So this could end up,
So Danny Ainge cheats now too?
Everybody.
that Kyrie thing is fishy.